Hello, and welcome to this episode of Lights Out. I'm your hostess with the mostest ghosties, Sylvia Schultz. This episode of Lights Out is brought to you by Audible.com. Audible, stories that surround you. When is a demon not a demon? How can you tell if an entity is actually demonic or is just a really nasty head ghost? Come with me and find out as we go Lights Out. David Youngquist is a talented horror writer as well as a paranormal investigator. He comes by his interest in investigating honestly. He's also a sensitive. A few years ago, David ran into an entity that seemed at first to be straight up demonic, sulfur-scented with a side of brimstone. But that, as he found out, was not the whole story.
He was a young man from Cambodia whose family had escaped the Khmer Rouge.
Mm-hmm.
And his was the only family to escape the village. The village was set up for cleansing. And he, let me get this right. He wasn't in the village, he was doing something else. And he heard the shots. And he came back to the village, and he snuck in the back way where the soldiers didn't know what was, didn't see him.
Mm-hmm.
Found his grandmother, a couple of his siblings, and I think an aunt. And they all snuck out the way he had come in.
Ah.
And they were the only ones, there were like 5 survivors. He said there were 5 survivors, all his family from his village. Everybody else was executed.
Lord.
And dumped into the rice paddy there, outside the village. And he got away, managed to, and you're old enough, you remember the wave of boat people that came over from Vietnam and Cambodia.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how he got here with his family. After they got out of the refugee camps, they got on the boats and came here.
Uh-huh.
Well, T was, we met him as one of our investigative group members, and nice young man.
Mm-hmm.
I call him young because he looks like a kid. He was a nice young man, but he was talking to Kelly and I about some of the problems that he was having. Him and his partner and him and his family members were under some kind of weird attack.
Mm.
And they would be scratched, and they would be hit with things, and they would literally be dragged out of bed at times. And he actually showed me, he said in whatever it was doing it, would rotate around to different members of his family.
Ah.
So at one time it would be him being attacked, and another time it would be his sister being attacked, and another time it would be his grandmother being attacked.
Mm.
And it wasn't anything you could pattern, it wasn't anything consistent. He said, but it never attacked all of them at once, it made its way from one to the other. And he showed me, he was currently the one that was the focus of this attack.
Mm-hmm.
And he showed me the scratches that he had on his arm. And he had some pretty deep scratches. And they looked like cat scratches. And he said, "You don't have a cat." And it's just one of those things. That's what it looked like. It looked like 3 deep gouts down through his arm. And he said he had them on his back, and he'd been dragged out of bed recently and everything else.
Mm.
And his partner was there with him, and he confirmed it.
Mm.
And Kelly and I are sitting there, we're picking up on this. We're picking up on something that had followed him from that point. It followed him to the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And Kelly and I questioned him on that and found the story about how he'd escaped and everything else. And Kelly and I had picked up on what this entity was, what this spirit was.
Mm.
And it wasn't fond of either of us because we could see it. We could pick up on it.
Mm.
And so I can't remember how the rest of the night went. I think we just kind of nailed down some details, but we didn't say that the spirit was there that night.
Uh-huh.
It had decided that since we could see it, then she needed to do something to threaten us and scare us away.
Ah.
And she kept coming after me. She would come after me. She'd show up at work. She'd show up on driving my Thunder, and she would show up with me, various voices. And do what she could to annoy me. She couldn't really do much in the way of harm, but she could annoy me. She could make noises. She could put her presence. I got fed up with it one day. She showed up and at the time I was driving an F-150. It was an automatic, and what I'm driving now is a stick.
Okay.
And she showed up one day after I got off work and showed up in the cab of my truck. Who was threatening not only me but my family. And I told her, I said, okay, I've had enough of your crap, and I just kind of reached over with my hand and grabbed her. But it's one of those, and that caught her off guard because she didn't expect me to do that. B, I don't think she thought that I could do it, and I didn't think I could do it either. But it was one of those weird things where it's like, okay, I got to try and do something. And I just kind of focused my thought and focused, I guess you could say, my spirit or my will, and grabbed a hold of her and got her. And I was close to the side of town where the cemetery is, and drove out that way and found the mausoleum built into the side of the hillside. And I said, okay, I've had enough of your crap. You're going to stay here for a while. And she couldn't. I don't know what I had a hold of her by, but she couldn't get away from me. And I walked her down the hill, down up to the vault, and stuffed her in, and then sealed it. I said a prayer and sealed it, and then hung my cross around the gates. The building has some really solid steel gates that are locked shut. They're padlocked shut. So I stuffed her in there and sealed it up and sealed her in. So it was. She definitely did not like it when she tried to get out and found out she couldn't. And that really pissed her off. But I'm like, okay, now what do I do? I've got her locked up, and I left her there for a couple of days, and went back to check and see if she was still there, and she still was. I could still feel her presence, and she kept trying to threaten me. And finally, after like the second or third time, I guess it was the third time I stopped, she was just curled up in a ball in the corner of the mausoleum. And she had always worn this bright scarf. She was in a military uniform, but she wore a bright red scarf wrapped around half of her face. You could only see one eye. And she had it wrapped around her jaw and around half of her face, and you could see that one eye. And finally, after about the third time I stopped, she was ready to talk. And I asked her what her name was, and she said it was Ming-Na or Ming-Hua. I couldn't figure out which. And we talked back and forth, why she was bothering T, what was going on, why she came after me, and all that. I just basically wanted to know what the hell was going on. And she told me that, she blamed T's family for her death. And I said, well, what do you mean? She was very, from what I could see, she was, she had a pretty face. From what I could see, I couldn't see much. But she unwrapped the scarf enough that I could see where she had been executed. And she rewrapped her face, and she said that her superiors blamed her for T's family's escape and executed her in the same rice paddy. And they basically marched her out there, made her kneel on the banks of the paddy, put an AK-47 against the back of her head and pulled the trigger. And down she went. And, she was a very beautiful woman when she was young, and she'd been very proud of her looks. And she was also very fanatically devoted to the communist regime and supported, Pol Pot, that kind of thing. And so, she blamed her execution on T's family. So she decided, after she was executed, she decided to do what she could to get her revenge on his family and torment them, even though they escaped the village and they escaped Cambodia. She was going to do what she could to torment them as long as they were still around. So she wasn't a demonic entity. She wasn't a demon. But I talked to a friend of mine who is very immersed in Asian culture. In the Asian culture, a spirit of a person can go through certain processes to become what Larry said was called a vengeance spirit. In at least in most Asian cultures, they're called a vengeance spirit.
Okay.
And Larry then told me, he said, I don't know what all it entails to get that kind of power. He said, but they can affect people, they can affect people physically still alive and that kind of thing. They can affect them physically. Mm. He said, and I don't know what the power is. He said, I don't know how they gather that power. He said, but any person that's gone through the process to become a vengeance spirit is a badass. Hmm. And they are very powerful and very strong. And he said, you don't want to mess with them. He said, people go out of their way in Asia to avoid pissing off a vengeance spirit because they don't want to bring that onto them or their house. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh, that's great. And here I have one cooped up in a mausoleum.
Oh, Lord.
Not a good thing.
Was she still in there at the point in time you were talking to Vince and your friend?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I was over my depth. I was over my head on this. Cause it's like I never dealt with anything like this. And then he told me that. I'm like, oh, wonderful. Now what am I going to do? So I was fortunate enough. I talked to another friend of mine, whom I've known for quite a while, but never met in person. Her name is Jackie Garner. Mm. And she lives in California, and she's very much involved in paranormal research, and she's a very, very gifted medium. And strangely enough, she and I have been able to connect before and help spirits cross over. It's a weird thing. It's hard to explain. We've connected before and helped spirits cross over. Then we're just kind of lost. Mm-hmm. And she taught me how to help spirits cross. Without her, I wouldn't have been able to figure out how to do this. Mm. So I got a hold of Jackie because she helped me in the past, and I said, okay, here's what I'm dealing with. And she read my note, and she said, how in the hell did you get involved with that? It's a long story. So she said, well, is this girl still, this spirit still trying to threaten you? I'm like, well, she hasn't the last couple times I stopped in to check on her. She said, how long has she been, have you had her cooped up? And it's about that time I had her in there for a couple of weeks. And she said, well, she's definitely not going to be happy to be there. I'm like, no, she's definitely not happy to be in there. She said, well, go talk to her again and just try and talk to her rationally. And she said, and leave her something. Leave her a gift or something. I'm like, okay, what the heck do I leave her? She said, well, leave her something. She said in Asia, it's typical to leave food out to spirits. I'm like, okay. So one day after work, I drove by and I talked to her, and I left her one of my cupcakes or something I had for lunch. I'd saved one aside that day and left it for her. Mm-hmm. And she was very hesitant to even look at it. It's one of those chocolate, good chocolate-coated American junk food things. Mm-hmm. And but she was more open to conversation. And I told her, I said she had to cross over. And she was afraid to cross over. So why are you afraid to cross over? She said, because I've done so much evil in my life. She said, I'm afraid. And I said, well, that's not for me to judge or you to judge. I said, that's, something that, I'm sure will happen once you cross over. And that freaked her out. And I'm like, oh, that was the wrong thing to say.
Not helpful.
Not helpful. And so I told Jackie that. She said, yeah, don't mention that again. And I'm like, okay. So I went back again and talked to her again. And strangely enough, probably a logical, rational explanation for it was that my cupcake was gone. And my line of thought was, well, a raccoon or something probably got it. I'm not going to think about it. But I talked to her again, and Jackie, kept encouraging me to tell her to cross over, to go ahead and cross over, and don't be afraid. Look up, and that silver light above her is where she needs to go. It's not, it looks like the moon, but it's supposed to go towards it. Mm. And so I sat down, and I sat down and talked with her a bit, and she as she went, the uniform first dropped off, and then as she continued to leave, the scarf dropped off. So that was her crossing over, and after that, I talked to T after that. He said, nobody in his family been bothered. There was no problem from that. So it worked out. I mean, that was where it went.
So what looked demonic at first actually turned out to be a lonely, tortured soul lashing out the only way it knew how. And in the end, this damaged soul was able to find rest at last. If you enjoyed David Youngquist's storytelling, be sure to check out his books, including Ghosts of the Illinois Canal System, available on Amazon. Thanks for listening to this episode. Join me next time when my guest will be the lovely and gracious Alexandra Holzer, daughter of famed paranormal researcher Hans Holzer. We'll have a real expert to keep us company the next time we go lights out.